A very good afternoon to everyone and welcome to our Creating Your Tomorrow Experience PFP at TP virtual talk. We are so glad to have you join us today. Now, in order to ensure a more pleasant experience for all viewers and participants, please do take note that recording of this virtual talk has begun and the link will be made available via the Temasek Polytechnic Open House microsite. Also, we will be having a live Q&A segment, which will involve some of our PFP students as well as our PFP alumni. And you will be pleased to know that the chat section has already been opened and will remain open for the entire duration of our virtual talk. So what you need to do right now is to click on the chat feature that you see in Zoom, and instructions have already been provided by our PFP virtual talk moderators. Now, before I begin, let me just introduce what is the program like for this afternoon's virtual talk. We will first start with the staff sharing on PFP at TP to help you understand a little bit more about our entry requirements, the courses available, as well as the PFP at TP course structure. Thereafter, we will have our PFP students, our current students, as well as our PFP alumni share a little bit more about the personal PFP journeys before we conclude with a live Q&A where some of your questions will be addressed and answered. Now, let me proceed to the first segment, which comprises of staff sharing on PFP at TP. Thank you. Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to the Polytechnic Foundation Programme virtual talk titled Creating Your Tomorrow Experience PFP at TP. This is part of a series of virtual talks for the Temasek Polytechnic's Open House 2023 scheduled on the 5th and the 6th of January 2023. Now, before I begin my sharing proper, let me share some guidelines on how we can ensure a more enjoyable and pleasant viewing experience for all of you. Here are some notes for participants. We have opened a chat section, and this will be open throughout the duration of the virtual talk for you to list down any questions that you would like us to answer with regards to the Polytechnic Foundation Programme. Now, this is through the chat feature on Zoom, and when you have the chat window open, please remember to address your question to everyone by selecting that particular setting so that all of us can have access to the questions asked and also the answers that will be provided. Now, to facilitate the whole virtual talk and the duration of the session, we will not be able to unmute yourselves during the virtual talk. Also, this webinar will be recorded and the webinar recording will be made available after the virtual talk via the Temasek Polytechnic Open House 2023 microsite. Now, let me introduce myself, and we can look forward to more information related to the Polytechnic Foundation Programme to be shared with you. I am Ms. Faith Yong. I'm a lecturer with the Centre for Foundation Studies. Now, the Centre for Foundation Studies offers the Polytechnic Foundation Programme at Temasek Polytechnic. A little bit more history and background of what PFP at TP is. It is essentially a one-year program which provides a head start for the top Sec 4 normal academic students in Temasek Polytechnic. So typically, instead of taking the GCE O-level examinations at Sec 5, eligible students can now join PFP at TP before being enrolled or admitted to their pre-selected diploma course upon completion of their Polytechnic Foundation Programme year. In fact, we welcomed our first PFP batch in 2013, and this year in 2022, we have welcomed our 10th PFP badge. You can see that we have a purple 10th year anniversary logo that was designed by one of our PFP alumni too. So in summary, like what I've mentioned, the Polytechnic Foundation Programme provides an alternative pathway for top NA students. So instead of taking their Sec 5 O-levels or O-levels at Sec 5, they are already given this head start through the Polytechnic Foundation Programme as they take on modules that are relevant to their diploma course. So what are some of the entry requirements, you might ask? Well, the entry requirements are as follows. All students, in order to be eligible or to qualify for admission to the Polytechnic Foundation Programme, need to obtain 12 points or better for the raw ELMAB3 aggregate score. Now, we like to highlight that it's the raw ELMAB3 aggregate score, which does not include your CCA bonus points. Additionally, you also need to meet the specific subject-based minimum requirements. And the next couple of slides will be very important information that you need to take note of, especially during the time of application. So here at Temasek Polytechnic, we have a total of 6 academic schools, namely the School of Applied Science, the School of Business, the School of Design, School of Engineering, the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, and lastly, the School of Informatics and IT. Therefore, if you are looking to pursue any one of the diplomas under the Group 1 category, you need to pay attention that your ELMAB3 aggregate score and the subjects used for the computation are as follows: English language, math, any one of these science subjects, and any 2 other subjects excluding your CCA. Additionally, you need to ensure that you have obtained a minimum required grade for each of the 5 subjects, and it needs to be no more than a grade 3. So even though you qualify based on your raw aggregate score of 12 points or less, but any one of the subjects you actually have obtained a grade 4, you will not be eligible for admission into the Polytechnic Foundation Programme. Now let's take a look at some of the courses that are available under the Group 1 category. So here we have the School of Applied Science as well as the School of Design, and you notice that we have highlighted 2 programs in red, namely the Common Science Programme and the Common Design Programme. Now, the Common Programme is a platform and opportunity for students to explore the various diplomas offered within each of the academic schools, and this will allow students to have a very good variety and a very good flavor in the first semester of year 1 before they indicate and specify that diploma choice proper in semester 2 of year 1. Similarly, also under the Group 1 category, we also have diploma courses from the School of Engineering as well as the School of Informatics and IT, and both schools also offer the Common Engineering and Common ICT program respectively. Now, I'd like to highlight then the key difference and an important one between the entry requirements for Group 1 and courses. Now, you notice then that a key difference is in the minimum grade required for English language, especially for your Group 2 courses. You notice that the minimum grade is a 2 required, and the subject combination is as follows: any one of these subjects like POA, Humanities, and any 2 other subjects. The raw aggregate score of 12 points or lower still applies, and within your ELMAB3, you can win anything more than a grade 3 for each of the subjects. Now, for your Group 2 courses, these are offered by our two academic schools, the School of Business as well as the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. So we have the Common Business Programme offered too by the School of Business. So if you take a look at this example, you will notice then that this student has obtained a raw ELMAB3 aggregate score of 10 points. Not only that, this student qualifies for a Group 2 or for all the courses under the Group 2 category because he has obtained the Grade 2 for the English language subject. Also, you'll be pleased to know then if you have taken any O-level subjects, there is also this aggregate point conversion available to you. But do note then that the cutoff is for an O-level grade of D7 that you have obtained. And this translates to 3 aggregate points. Now, what essentially can you look forward to when you embark on your Polytechnic Foundation Programme at Temasek Polytechnic? So similarly, we have a 1-year program which comprises 2 semesters. And instead of starting in January, our academic year begins in April each year and ends in March the next year. And each semester then, our students will take 2 domain cluster subjects as well as 5 common subjects per semester. This means that our students take a total of 7 subjects per semester. Now let's take a look at what are the kind of subjects that you'll be taking for each of the 2 semesters. So in semester 1, for example, if you are an applied science student, you'll be taking subjects such as living chemistry and living biology. These 2 are subjects relevant to your domain cluster as well as your diploma. Additionally, also, all students, regardless of which academic school they are in, will take all 5 common subjects that you see in the red box. In semester 2 then, you will take similar subjects, perhaps at a more difficult level, or you will also take then another type of subjects. Like for design students, they will move on to take subjects in color appreciation and visual storytelling, both of which are also relevant to their design-related diplomas. And of course, all students then, regardless of academic school, will take the common subjects offered in semester 2, which is a continuation from semester 1. Now, ever since we welcomed our first PFP batch, and ever since they graduated, we have, had award-winning alumni. In fact, these are some of the award-winning alumni and the number of course medalists that the PFP at TP program has experienced and seen. So since our first batch graduated in 2017, we are proud to have 33 gold medalists, 34 silver medalists, and 28 bronze medalists. So if you are a course medalist, you must have done exceptionally well, even at diploma level. And we are pleased to then highlight 2 of our award-winning alumni from the class of 2022. Firstly, we have Goh Se-ing, who graduated with merit from the Diploma in Veterinary Technology, and she was the course cohort gold medalist. She was also a 2-time Director's List recipient, and she has also attributed her academic success in her diploma to how PFP provided her with very strong foundations in subjects such as biology and chemistry, and how her in-class presentations during her PFP year equipped her with the skills necessary to communicate more effectively. Secondly, we also have Nicholas, who graduated with merit in the Diploma in Financial Business Informatics. He was the course cohort's bronze medalist, also a 2-time Director's List recipient. And he also talks about how he was able to communicate his ideas more confidently, and he also learned how to collaborate effectively with his other group mates, and this provided him with a strong foundation and enabled him to transition very smoothly from his PFP year to his diploma proper. I've now come to the end of my sharing, but before that, I'd like to provide you with some additional resources that you can refer to. Firstly, you can scan the QR code on the left to have access to our PFP TP website, where you'll find out more information about the subject synopsis, our entry requirements, as well as some information, as well as student achievements. If you'd like to find out more about a day in the life of our PFP students, you can also follow us on Instagram at our Temasek PFP Instagram handle. With that, I'd like to thank you for your time, and we are going to share with you a segment from our PFP alumni and current students sharing on how their respective PFP journeys have been. Thank you. We hope we have just found that staff sharing segment useful. We'll now proceed to our second segment, where you hear a little bit more about the personal PFP journeys of our current PFP students, as well as our PFP alumni.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Polytechnic Foundation Programme at Temasek Polytechnic Virtual Talk. We're so glad to have you here with us today. I'm Caitlin, and alongside me is Rasina, a fellow PFP student at here TP, as well as two of our alumni, Raihan and Benjamin. Now, may I invite them to introduce themselves and the diploma courses they're in.
Hi everyone, I'm Rasina, a current PFP at TP student. I'll be pursuing a diploma in Law and Management under the School of Business.
Hi, I'm Benjamin, a former PFP student from the Diploma of Social Sciences in Gerontology, Year 1.
Hello everyone, my name is Raihan, also a former PFP student, and I'm a third-year student in Aerospace Electronics.
So Raihan, you started your PFP at TP journey maybe 3 years back. So how was your experience? Mind sharing it?
Well, my experience was interesting because it gave us a head start into a diploma, and apart from that, we've been seeing a lot of award-winning students throughout the years. Oh yeah, hi Caitlin.
Yeah.
You and I share something in common, right? So I think you're in the School of Engineering.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So can you tell us more about the engine domain subjects?
Sure. So if you're a foundation student at the School of Engineering, you'll take subjects such as Engineering Science 1 and Prototyping in Semester 1, which I really loved because I was able to get really hands-on, and it really made me grasp the concept a lot better. And in Semester 2, we'll be continuing with Engineering Science 2, as well as Computing and Programming, which is actually where I found my love for coding, which I still do in my free time now. What about you, Asina?
As for business modules, you'll be taking foundation subjects such as understanding customer as well as financial aspects of business. I personally love financial aspects of business because it involves counting of money, and who doesn't love money, right? And then for semester 2, currently I'm taking understanding business environment as well as business management with technology, where it teaches us tools to analyze businesses before investing in them. How about you, Ben?
Well, as a PFP student headed for the Diploma in Gerontology, I took subjects such as sociological perspectives and psychology, which is my journey towards Year 1 as the contents were reviewed again. The common modules such as LNC and R now also did help improve my literacy skills, which are essential to have as a HSS student.
We'd also like to talk more about the foundation subjects taken in the School of Applied Science, Design, and Informatics and IT. If you're heading to the School of Applied Science, you'll be taking foundation subjects such as living chemistry and living biology. In fact, one of our PFP students, Dominic, behind the camera, he is pursuing a diploma in chemical engineering with the School of Applied Science.
If you're pursuing a diploma under the School of Design, you'll be taking foundation subjects such as understanding design, understanding forms, visual storytelling, as well as color appreciation. We also have our very own PFP at TP student, Amos behind camera, who will be pursuing a diploma in digital film and television in year 1. We are very proud to present our very own PFP at TP Student Productions for our Open House 2023 PFP Virtual Talks.
Yay! And finally, if you're pursuing a diploma of the School of Informatics and IT, you'll be taking foundation subjects such as Introduction to Computer Science and Professional IT Skills. As semester 2, you'll be taking Logic and Algorithm and Social Media and IT Trends. Essentially, the Polytechnic Foundation Programme at Temasek Polytechnic is unique, as it not only gives you an insight to the subjects that you'll be taking in year 1, but also provides a practice-oriented curriculum and a head start.
Hey, yeah, Killian, Rosina, it's been a year since you guys got your N-level results, right?
Yeah.
Can you guys tell more about that?
Oh my gosh, I went terrible.
Terrible, why?
Terribly great. So I've always been aiming to go to the Polytechnic Foundation Programme, and the reason why I chose the PFP at TP program was because of its common modules, which equips me with skills that will help me throughout my course. For example, research and reasoning, which equips me with research skills that I will use throughout the duration of my course. What about you, Asina?
As for me, I decided on PFP at TP, as TP is the only polytechnic that offers a diploma in law and management. I believe that I would be able to gain relevant knowledge and hands-on skills for a career in the legal and business industry in the future. Adding on, I very much want to help the underprivileged in the society. How about you then?
For me, as we have an aging population in Singapore, I have a general interest in social work and would like to have a better understanding of the older population we have here. And similar to you, TP only offers this diploma here. What about you, Ryan?
Well, I've always been aviation, especially in Singapore, because all the planes that are flying through the air. Apart from that, my diploma here in TP actually allows me and my friends to pursue a career as a licensed aircraft engineer with a certificate of recognition from the Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore.
Apart from our common and domain modules, we also get to participate and organize in PFP activities as PFP ambassadors.
Well, for the benefit of our viewers here, could you perhaps share what the PFP ambassadors are?
I have the privilege of serving the PFP cohort this year as the PFP Ambassadors President. So PFP Ambassadors are nominated leaders, outreach representatives, and mentors to our future PFP students. And we bridge the gap between the PFP lecturers and the PFP cohort, and we play an active role in implementing student-led and student-centric initiatives for the PFP cohorts.
Oh yes, this year we organized an amazing race, which had tons of exciting games and booths, as well as exciting peer study sessions. As PFP ambassadors, we work closely with the PFP cohort to ensure that their experience is a memorable one.
Wow, President!
Yeah, of course.
Interesting. So, as I was from the 2019 batch, my batch actually pioneered the Thinking Caps program. Now, this Thinking Caps program is a student-led initiative that is led by scholars such as Caitlin and Dominic. It serves as a peer tutor for revision for the subjects. Apart from that, there's a student-led initiative, things like the PFP Play, which is fully student organized, and it serves as a bonding session for the whole cohort. I think you guys did Captain's Ball, am I right?
Yep.
Yeah, so for my batch it was Chuk Ball.
Oh, and Ben, we heard that you went on an overseas community service trip?
Yes, over there in Cambodia, I did photo donation drives and gave out speeches to local Cambodians there. In addition, we helped to build a classroom for them at their school.
Oh.
And had I not joined PFP, I wouldn't think I have the confidence to even put myself out there.
Wow, this sounds like a really fulfilling PFP journey. So how did it help you in your diploma course?
Well, the foundational year that we took gave a huge head start into our diploma use as well. Subjects such as LNC, R&R, mathematics, and engineering science really helped us build the basis. Apart from that, we have very nice lecturers off the frames right now, and it actually made us more confident including myself. And that's how we create a lot of friends such as them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, for me, PFP helped adapt me to the poly life and gave me the confidence to pursue more opportunities here at TP.
So, what are your plans after graduation, like NS, uni?
Well, after my poly, I will be enlisting for my national service, but I think I'll be enrolling into a triple E undergrad course. Yeah. Oh, since we are running out of time, I think let us go through our memories throughout our PFP and TP year. So I think I'll start first because I'm the oldest.
Okay.
So for myself, I think a lot of memories stem from the caring lecturers that we have. So they have guided my friends and I throughout the years for the past 4 years as well, even outside of our PFP year. Apart from that, I've met a lot of friends that they have stayed with me through thick and thin, and we've even makan and studied together as well.
For me, it's my domain subjects such as financial aspects of business, as it taught me accounting principles that I can apply in real-life context, as well as for my common subjects, I learned how to be more confident in terms of my presentation skills, not forgetting to be more outspoken and outgoing with my fellow classmates.
For me, it was the time management skills that I picked up, as well as helping me transition easier from my secondary school life.
And finally, for me, it's the friendships that I formed. I was able to make lifelong friends in my PFP year, and we've been able to truly bond through our many student activities and group work that we've done together. And I really do hope that I'll carry these friendships on with me throughout my Polytechnic life.
We hope this student sharing session has been insightful and helped you further as you deliberate your academic journey. Join us at TP Open House from 5th January to 7th January to meet us in person and find out how
We created our tomorrow with PFP at TP. See you soon!
All right, we hope you have just found that students sharing segment insightful and also beneficial as you consider PFP at TP. I would like to take this opportunity now to invite both our students, Caitlin, who is a current PFP student, as well as Raihan, a PFP alumni, to come on screen, and maybe we can get them to unmute themselves and also introduce the diplomas that they will be pursuing and also the diploma that they are currently in. Caitlin, Raihan, please.
Hi everyone, so I'm Caitlin. I'm currently a PFP student, and next year I'm going to be pursuing my diploma in biomedical engineering.
Hi everyone, I am Raihan. I'm a year 3 student in aerospace engineering, aerospace electronics. And next year I'll be graduating from school.
Wow, it has been quite a journey for you both. And I am going to pose our very first question to Caitlin. Right now, we see a lot of students, right? And we were welcoming a lot of Sec 4 NA students. And just thinking back, it was 1 year ago where you were in this very same position, you know, contemplating which are the diploma courses that you are interested in and deciding upon PFP at TP or any other PFP program. So can you share with all our viewers today what made you decide on PFP?
Alright, so the reason why I chose the Polytechnic Foundation Programme is as an alternative pathway to Sec 5 was because it gave me a head start. The classes that I will be taking in my Polytechnic Foundation year will be building me a solid foundation of what I'll be learning in my diploma years, which really helps me when I move on to my year 1, where I'll have a head start and I'll be able to help my peers with the knowledge that I've gained from my Polytechnic Foundation year. And the reason why I chose PFP at TP specifically was because I when I was looking through what the different schools offered, I really enjoyed the common modules that TP offered, which provides us with essential skills that we do use in our diploma courses later on. For example, I think what helped me a lot was research and reasoning, which TP offers, which teaches me research skills that will help me later on when I do research for my course. And lastly, the reason why I chose biomedical engineering was because I was already fascinated and interested in engineering concepts. And I have a passion for biology that I do want to use in the healthcare industry later on. So that's why I chose biomedical engineering.
Okay, thank you, Caitlin, for providing a very comprehensive answer. I'm going to pose the next question to Raihan. Raihan, we are in week 12, and in just a couple of weeks, you'll be graduating from TP. So could you just share a little bit more about some considerations, when you decided on PFP at TP back when you were also contemplating what to do post N-levels?
Well, my decision was a long time ago, especially since it's been 4 years. If I can remember correctly, my main consideration was location, because I live really close to TP, and I got a place in PFP as well, so I chose PFP at TP. Not only that, ever since I've been trying to pursue into engineering, and I really want to quicken my studies. So I picked PFP at TP because of from what I've heard is that the engineering courses here are very comprehensive, especially our subjects, what we call as modules, where we learned a lot of both academic and even practical items as well. Yeah. So those were my considerations.
Okay, thank you very much, Raihan. We will come back to both of you to share a little bit more about certain concerns that some students might have with regards to their N-level subject combinations. I'd like to take this time to maybe perhaps address one of the questions on what students can do if they are interested in both PFP and DPP. Now, let me just explain what DPP is. DPP stands for the Direct Polytechnic Programme. And unlike the Polytechnic Foundation Programme, the DPP is actually offered by ITE, right? So this is a key difference. Now, I think if you are deciding between PFP and or the DPP, we strongly encourage students or prospective applicants to carefully consider your interests and your strengths. Like what you've heard from both Caitlin and Raihan in the sharing, they considered what they were passionate about. They found out what the diplomas lead to. And I think this provides us with a very good starting point to decide and to assess if either program is suitable. So one option that Sec 4 NA students can do if they are interested in both is to apply for both the PFP and DPP upon release of the GCE O-level exam results in January. And it's important also at this point to note then that you can only accept either the PFP or the DPP program offer. So more information will be provided via a written response to redirect you to our website for DPP and also on PFP at TP. Now, I'm going to actually direct this next question also, since we are talking about choices and academic progress. Raihan, if students did not take A-Math, would it be difficult to catch up, not having taken A-Math, maybe at N-levels or maybe at as an O-level subject? Would you like to address this?
Well, coincidentally, I was in a similar situation 4 years ago. I didn't take additional mathematics back in secondary school, but the thing is, I chose engineering for my diploma course when I entered PFP as well. So at first, to answer the question, at first there was a little bit of culture shock because you're not really used to a lot of things like integration, differentiation, and so on and so forth. So it's quite very comprehensive to someone like me. But apart from that, I don't really see much of an issue because we have very good lecturers as well. They will take that time out of the day just to address any issues that my friends and I have, and to help us catch up with my peers, those that took additional mathematics, especially back in secondary school. So yeah, so in conclusion, not really that much.
All right, thank you very much, Raihan. And also to add on to what Raihan mentioned, I think probably a concern that maybe parents and students, prospective students might have would be, what if I am not coping well? Are there any tuition classes that you could attend if you're not coping well in the course of your PFP year? Well, not to worry. We do have in place certain programs such as the Learning Support Program to support students who might need a little bit more help in the subjects that they are weaker in. And also earlier on, Caitlin and Raihan shared about the Thinking Caps program. This is a peer tutoring initiative led by our PFP scholars. And this actually allows our students to come together and really help each other in the preparation and revision for their respective modules. Collectively, each of our subject teams work very closely together to provide very timely and early academic intervention to our students in the event they may be having difficulties with certain subjects too. And speaking of PFP scholars, right, Caitlin, are you a PFP scholar yourself? Could you share a little bit more about what PFP scholars do and what exactly is the PFP scholarship?
All right, so the PFP scholarship is dependent on how well you do for N levels. So if you've done well for your N levels, the school will then reach out to you and let you know that you're eligible for a scholarship program. And that's where you fill up a form and you attend an interview. During this interview, the school can find out more about how you can give back to the school and help other students as a PFP scholar. For myself, me and my team of scholars, like Ms. Faith said earlier, we run the Thinking Caps program. So that is, I think, our way of giving back to students. So we want to help as many students as possible to create a conducive environment and to help them if they are struggling with any subjects. Because I think we're all in PFP together, especially for our common modules that all of us share. So we are really able to help and understand what we're all going through together. And through this scholarship program, I've also become a PFP ambassador. So as a PFP ambassador, we've organized a lot of student initiatives for the whole PFP cohort. So as a PFP ambassador, we've organized an amazing race where we have these fun and exciting booths for students to participate in. And we do hope that before we end the year, we can organize more activities before our PFP batch graduates this year.
Okay, thanks, Caitlin. Just one more question, a related one. What is the eligibility criteria, or what are the requirements for the PFP scholarship? Could you share a little bit more about that?
Sure. I don't think there is any specific score they need to meet in order to be a PFP scholar. It is based on merit, but it's offered to quite a few students. And I think overall it boils down to what you've done outside of your academics. I think they also look at what you've done as CCA and outside of school, and as well as through the interview about how you can give back.
All right, so just to summarize, we are looking at your N-level results. It's by merit, and there is also a consideration on your CCA achievements and what you've done outside. Right? Okay, sure. Thank you very much, Caitlin. Now, I think one of the questions that parents or prospective students might have would be, okay, what is the number of vacancies set aside for PFP and whether or not there is any quota? So adding on to what Caitlin has mentioned, admission to PFP is really by merit, and it's competitive too. So what we are going to do right now is that we are going to provide you with more links on our course intake as well as the PFP aggregate score. And this link is going to be pasted as the written response in the chat section. Yes, the answer has been provided too. And I think to allow us all to really understand more about PFP, the number of vacancies, I think a related question that we receive would be whether or not PFP students can change course. Now, really, according to MOE guidelines, students are unable to change course once they have accepted the offer, because PFP is a direct through train program, and once you have accepted the diploma choice, you are required to complete it. However, we strongly encourage all parents and students to carefully also consider your strengths, your interests, and to join us down at our physical open house to find out for yourself, speak to our students, speak to our lecturers to really find out what are the various courses offered. And we will be also then providing a link to the Joint PFP portal where you can obtain more information also about the application process. Okay, Caitlin and Raihan, you mentioned quite a bit about PFP ambassadors, right? And immediately, if I were a student, I'm thinking, okay, PFP ambassadors kind of reminds me of CCA. So Raihan, I am going to ask you, PFP ambassadors, right? It's somewhat part of student activities and pretty much what we would view as CCA. So is CCA compulsory for students while they are in Temasek Polytechnic? Maybe either one of you can actually address this.
Okay, to answer that question, it's not required. It's not compulsory, but it is recommended, provided if you, the student, could juggle between your student activities and your studies as well. Speaking about PFP Ambas, so PFP Ambas is something similar like a CCA, but you get to bond with your PFP mates as well. Apart from that, you'll be doing good things and good activities even outside school, like creating or organizing events, especially for charity and so on and so forth, provided you guys can manage it.
Okay, Caitlin, since you have completed, right, essentially 1.5 semesters, okay, we are into the final few weeks before you actually complete your PFP year. Can you share a little bit more about whether or not, you know, it's difficult transitioning? How's the timetable like, and what is the assessment structure like in PFP?
Okay, so I think regarding assessment structure, it depends and changes depending on what course you're in. Personally, I'm in engineering, so for my domain modules such as engineering science, it is more tests and quiz based. But I think when I talk to my peers who are in design, for example, they have much more project work. So it really just boils down to what course you're in. When I think about if it's hard for me to transition from secondary school life, I think it is definitely a pretty big change. I had to take on a lot more responsibility for my work and regarding consistent work. Because I think in secondary school, we are very used to final exams at the end of the year and our mid-year exams. But when it comes to Polytechnic, where every single test, every single project makes up our final grade, our final GPA, it's really important that we're consistently putting in work. It's important that we have good time management so that we don't get burnt out. And it is definitely a change, but I think PFP is also a great way for students to slowly transition into that change rather than to go into Sec 5 and jump into it headfirst in year 1. So PFP really gives me an opportunity to see what it's like because my GPA isn't accumulated yet. So I really get to see how I can manage my time wisely.
Okay, thank you very much, Caitlin. I think really for the benefit of everyone, like what Caitlin mentioned, really we do realize that the Polytechnic Foundation Programme, in terms of its assessment, would comprise, like what Caitlin mentioned, a lot more individual work. These are in the form of written assignments, individual presentations. We also have group projects and presentations, and depending also on the domain cluster subject that you take, sometimes you do have actually a quiz mid-semester or a test at the end of the semester. All right. We do actually have a question from a participant on whether or not there would be a disadvantage if you maybe perhaps not have any background at N levels. So for example, if I am an applied science student, but I did not take biology or art, if I were a design student at N levels, what happens? I think if you just join us and you did not get to hear from our student, Raihan was in a similar position himself, right? He did not take A Math at N levels, but he also then highlighted and clarified that during the course of his PFP year, he was able to actually speak to his lecturers and they provided very close assistance during the times where he had difficulties in the subject. Also in PFP, we do have what we call the Learning Support Program. So this is a platform where the respective subject teams and subject tutors identify students that might be slightly weaker in certain subjects, and they provide them with additional academic support. Also at a peer-to-peer level, we do have the Thinking Caps program, which is an initiative led by our PFP scholars, like Caitlin, together with other PFP scholars, and it is a peer tutoring initiative where students come together to revise in preparation for the upcoming assessments or quizzes. So not to worry, we do have all these platforms available to support our students as they journey alongside each other and us during their PFP year. All right, it seems like we have addressed quite a number of questions. So I would like to just ask maybe Raihan. We have focused quite a bit on our domain cluster subjects, right? Our engineering modules. And then we remember too that in PFP, each semester, students take a total of 7 subjects, 2 from their domain cluster, depending on which academic school they are proceeding to, and all of us, regardless of our academic school, will take 5 common modules, right? So just to share with our viewers, is PFP similar to the learning of O-level subjects, especially for common subjects like language and communication, research and reasoning, mathematics and logical thinking? Would you like to address that question? Is it similar to taking of O-level subjects?
To answer your question, I would say no. It's slightly different in a sense that here in Polytechnic, you are working a lot with your peers. There's a lot of group projects. There's more presentations, especially once you step into Polytechnic. Well, if I can recall correctly, back in my secondary school, it's more individual work, especially like tests, assignments that you do it by yourself, unless you have friends to help you around. So to say that it's similar to learning O-level subjects, I would say no, but there are some similarities in like for example, LNC, or language and communication, it's something similar to English for O-levels, but more group work. Yeah. So that's my answer for that.
All right, thank you very much, Raihan. So yes, we do realize then, like what Raihan has mentioned, we are talking about a more practice-oriented curriculum. And through the introduction of common modules like language and communication, which involves some level of writing skills, we do realize then that we are introducing students to communication skills, giving a presentation in front of their peers, something that which may be very daunting for our students, but also then we introduce skills like the use of secondary sources through perhaps news articles, and then we realize that this really provides our students with a head start. Because Raihan, let me just ask you this question. Have you been using or have you been made to give presentations beyond your PFP year?
If I can recall correctly, yes. I've had my fair share of presentations, even outside to secondary school students. Because currently right now, back when I was in year 1, for my CC, I had to present what TP is all about to secondary school, to my alma mater especially. So the skills that I have gained during PFP actually helped me in a way to present to a larger crowd, rather than my peers that I've known for quite a long time for that 1 year. So it helps me to maintain my calmness to strangers especially.
Okay, thank you very much, Raihan. Now, I'm going to take this opportunity to really get both Raihan as well as Caitlin. It's quite daunting, right? To make a very big decision, at this point in time. What's your advice for parents whose children are considering PFP? Perhaps you could share your own personal experience. Let's start with you, Raihan. So what's your advice for parents whose children, or or parents and children alike, who are considering PFP?
Well, my advice to parents is to let your child decide for their passion, decide the course in relation to their passion as well. I can speak solely for myself and my parents. My parents have been very supportive of me choosing engineering, the engineering industry, especially because ever since young, I've been tinkering around with all sorts of electronics and even Lego and disassembling and assembling them again. So it's important to let your child decide for themselves and to understand what they really want to do in the future, especially once they're, graduated from Polytechnic or even furthering their studies and even after their uni, to let them decide for themselves what they really want and what they've been passionate about ever since they were a small little child.
Yes, I think adding on to Raham's point about the importance of choosing a course that suits your interests and your passions, I think that as parents, it's really important for you to go through with your kids what they will enjoy. For example, I've been a facilitator throughout our open house these past few days, and I met a lot of parents and students who they have so many interests, because I think in secondary school, we're just so used to just studying math and science and English, and we don't really have the opportunity to think and try out what we want to do in the future. So something that I recommend to parents and students to do together is to actually go to our TP website. And when you go into these specific courses, you are able to see what other classes you'll be taking in year 1, year 2, year 3, as well as prospects, job prospects later on, the industries that you'll be able to pursue once you've graduated your diploma. And I think as students who have just graduated secondary school, we may not know much about it. So I think parents can help out here a lot to tell us more about what these industries are like as an adult, who most are in the working world, who can really help us out and let us know what these jobs will require and what these skills may need. And I think it's also very important for parents to support your child during this transition to polytechnic life, because I think it is quite overwhelming at the start when we're in charge of all of our deadlines, a lot more responsibility to us. So I think especially when my mother was super supportive of me, and I believe that as parents that you would also be super supportive of your child and to just give them a good support system.
Okay, thank you very much to both Caitlin and Raihan for your very insightful sharing as well as your very comprehensive answers. I would like to just take this opportunity also then to conclude our live Q&A segment. But before that, I'd like to provide all of us with some links that can help you as you consider the Polytechnic Foundation Programme. So do allow me to share some additional resources. All right, so if you have any additional queries, you may actually drop us an email at cfs@tp.edu.sg for us to actually address your queries. Also, like what Caitlin has advised all of us to do, parents and students alike, you may visit our PFP TP website by just using your phone to scan the QR code that you see on screen. Now, this afternoon's virtual talk is the second of our 2 virtual talks on the Polytechnic Foundation Programme. And like what I mentioned, the video recording will be made available via the TP Open House microsite, and we've also provided you with a QR code to scan. But at the end of the day, please come on down to experience TP for yourself and speak to any one of our lecturers and our students on duty. A gentle reminder that open house will run till 4 p.m. tomorrow, Saturday, and the doors will open from 10 a.m. and we are more than happy to welcome you. So once again, thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us, and thank you and see you soon. Goodbye.